Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
You were awesome.
Oh, good.
You really were. You were amazing.
Yes. All
Your
right.
whole spiel on the Amherst thing was so on point.
Um, oh my God. And I only said I I I did fine, you know. So yeah, we're being recorded. But yes, um it um you know, it they submitted that grant application in I think in 2015. They
Yeah.
got put on the waiting list in 2016.
Mm,
It's and the project is delayed by 2 years. So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really it's sad
It
that
is.
it's
It's
because
sad, but it's also really not that relevant to what we're dealing with.
it's not relevant at all to what we're
Yeah,
dealing
and I
with.
appreciated the way you put it. So, hey,
Mm,
Michelle,
yes, I
how
did
are you
some
feeling?
research about it. So
I saw that you did. How are you doing? Michelle's back went out on
oh
her today.
no.
She's in a lot of pain. So Michelle, just acknowledging that you should do whatever you need to do to make this bearable for yourself. Okay. I'm so sorry. You're on mute, friend. Michelle, you're on mute.
Sorry. I was going, yeah, if I need to get up, I will just lie down on the couch and just listen. But
Yeah,
anyway,
whatever you need to
that
do.
helped me earlier when I was texting you. I was lying on the couch with the heating pad, and that did help.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was being a little overzealous because I was missing exercise classes, so I was a little overzealous last Friday, and I did too much.
Okay. Hey, Melanie.
Anyway,
Just got up from a nap.
Good for you. Well, hey, Tim's coming on. Hey, Tim.
Good evening.
So I think Brad and Savannah are both going to try to be here. Brad was also at the FinCom meeting along with me and Marianne. Tim, were you there?
Yes, I was.
Excellent. And Brad's here. Hey, Brad. Yeah.
I thought FinCom was last night, so I sent Marianne an email saying I couldn't make it to FinCom last night.
No, you couldn't. It wasn't possible.
Yeah,
And if you took a nap tonight, that was probably a good use
instead
of
of
your
going to
time.
FinCom. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
There were a lot of people at the FinCom meeting.
There were.
So
All right. It is just now 8:30. And so why don't we just give Savannah a minute or two, if that's okay, and then we'll get started. And sort of a rough agenda, just explaining what happened at the FinCom meeting and any implications that we understand for tomorrow's select board meeting. And then I sent around a draft townwide letter that the Friends have agreed. Well, no, wait, I'm sorry. I think we can send this via the town's indicia. Is that what we decided? I can't remember what we decided about that, Marianne.
so I wanted to talk about that. So I think the time is very tight.
And it would be
And
better to
that
just send
I
a
think
first
we
class
should
mail.
just send it first class mail, because to send it through the bulk mailing is just that's gonna slow it down.
Yeah,
And then the post office doesn't have to deliver it as quickly.
Yeah.
So
okay.
and And so if it's 800 and I did the math earlier, but, so if it's 850 houses, it's something like $440 or something like that.
Yeah, and
So,
the Friends have already agreed to support the trustees mailing, which is very kind of them. So,
Yeah.
and then I think it would be really good also if we could just get, since Melanie has managed to get us minutes for the last couple of meetings, I think it would be good for transparency's sake for us to go ahead and get those minutes approved and posted. So that's what I was going to propose for agenda tonight. Melanie, I see your hand.
Do you want to read the why we're doing this on Zoom
Yep.
thing?
Yes. I will
sure.
do that.
So
We
we
have-
are having this meeting on Zoom in accordance with open meeting laws during the pandemic. And the recording will be on file with the town clerk's office, at least until the minutes are available. So,
Great. And then Michelle, I saw your hand.
Yeah, I just want at the end, if we have time, I visited the West Hampton Library, which was, they started building around we last tried. So I just wanted to share my thoughts about that. And if we have
Oh,
time,
that would be great. Thank you.
it was lovely.
All right. Well, so if it's okay, because we do have a quorum and it's very late, and I appreciate you all so much for being here and being here on time, but let's try to keep it pretty tight tonight. So let's go ahead and get rolling, calling the meeting to order. And if we could start with the minutes from, oh, I lost track, whichever the first,
26, yeah.
yeah. Do we have any questions, suggestions, edits for the first batch? Go ahead, Michelle.
Near the bottom, the second bullet, I think you wanted this library. It says Tis Library. You see that one, Melanie? Second from the bottom. Yeah, and then I got lost in that very last sentence that starts on the bottom of the page and goes into the next one. Looks like it was a question, but I didn't understand the question the way it was written. So we will not do the finance committee that they not transfer. So something happened. I don't know. I didn't
Well, the
understand it.
sense from my memory is that it was not our role to make recommendations to the finance committee on what they transfer from where.
Yeah, that I understand. It's just the way it's written. It's not clear.
Yeah.
Looks
So
like it was a
I was
question.
sort of,
Looks like it was a question because then there's an answer after it.
Just the finance committee will consider the library ask in relation to other town needs. That one?
Yeah, the very last sentence at the bottom though, it runs on to the next page. We will not do the finance committee that they not transfer any
Do
free
the
cash.
borrowing until well into the project. We will not. Because we will not do the borrowing until well into the project. I know that
oh,
it was weird.
right.
Will
Thank
not
you.
be borrowing.
Yeah, the borrowing doesn't have to commence right away.
Right, the borrowing.
Well, then it starts with this finance committee that they not transfer any free cash to the library. That's why I got confused.
Oh, that was a question from one of the visitors.
That's what I figured. But I can't follow the question, so.
That's a
Was it one of
different
them that was typed in the chat
paragraph.
that night, or what did they ask it? Do you remember?
Is-
If we're talking about the same meeting, Mike Binsky asked if the library trustees would consider recommending to the finance committee that they not transfer
Right.
funds from cash accounts.
Yeah, that sounds what I remember, like what I remember too now. that you
Oh,
said it.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that was, that I just cut and pasted the Mike Vinsky one. I see. I cut and pasted that from the chat.
Okay.
So
So,
just for clarity, that's what he was asking us
Yep.
to do. And we said that's not
Right.
so much our business, essentially.
Right.
Hi, Savannah. Good to see you. So we are reviewing the first batch of minutes.
So once you fix
I
that.
actually lost these minutes and had to redo them. And so I had to go back to the video, and so there could be some funky stuff in here.
That's the only thing that was funky. I didn't
Well,
see anything
that's good.
else. Yeah, I didn't see anything else. I just didn't understand the question because it was just unclear. I understood the answer, but I didn't know how it was that phrased. But the rest looked good to me.
Do you want me to put it in quotes?
I think
That-
if we're paraphrasing it, I think it would be better to just say sense of question as understood by trustees was,
Mhm.
or something like that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
if you
Maybe
said it
this
was
is
from a visitor,
You
that'd
want
be
me to
helpful
paraphrase
too.
it instead of putting the,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
you put that it's a visitor asked the question or a guest asked the question, that would be helpful.
don't I do that? It says Mike Vinsky and then it's,
I don't see
Mike
that.
Vinsky, it is the decision of the finance committee as to how much could be transferred from free, oh, that whole thing is from him. And then when it says answer colon,
Yeah, that was our answer, right? I don't know, what do you think? Should we put who asked the question? Sometimes we've done that. Yeah, we did, you did
well,
that one.
I did
You
put
did.
who asked the question. It says Mike Vinsky and then there's a dash.
Why do I not see that? I don't see it, but
On
anyway.
the previous page, his question was long.
Okay,
It's on the end
I
of
might-
page 2. It says,
I must not be looking at the right page. I just don't see it. Okay, well, if that's fine, if that's what, the way it's supposed to be written.
So Michelle, we answered the question as we understood it, and that is the
Right.
question verbatim. So I guess
Right.
it's okay then, right?
If that's what you cut and paste, sure, I just didn't understand it. If you want to say who said it, that's fine.
I move we approve.
A second.
All in favor?
To do roll
Oh,
call.
sorry, no, I can't do that. I have to do a regular thing. So Michelle first, please.
Approved, yes.
Melanie,
yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Savannah,
Yes,
and I say yes also. Okay, thank you. So then we have the next batch of minutes. Any comments or questions about those?
They were perfect. I didn't see anything. I'd make a motion to accept them as is unless somebody else found something.
I second.
Right.
All right. We'll do a roll call then. All right, this time we're going to start with Brad,
Yes.
Tim.
Abstain, I wasn't there.
Oh, thank you. Savannah,
yes,
Melanie,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
and I say yes. Kate,
Oh,
so
yeah,
yes.
do you want to say that Tim wasn't there? I don't see that. Just put it that he's absent. Melanie, and then we already accepted it, but
Is he listed as present?
no,
No.
it's just not listed at all, at all. So usually we would
Well,
put.
so
he's
that's
absent.
correct. I mean, if he's
Yeah.
not listed as present, it's implicit that he's absent, so I think it's fine. Okay. Great. So before the meeting, I sent around the spreadsheet that FinCom approved to send to the select board for their consideration during their meeting tomorrow night. And I can possibly, I think I can share my screen. Looks like I can.
I will make it that you can.
No, it looks like I can, Marianne.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to find of all the billions of windows that I have open. All right. I know that this is very small and probably hard to read. Just reminding people that you can adjust it yourselves. If you pull down from the top of at least a Windows screen, you can adjust your Zoom.
Let me just ask a question,
Mhm.
Brad. Foster, will you write down all the numbers from this spreadsheet, and then we'll plug them into the warrant article? All right, you'll be in charge of that. Okay. And then when I pull up the warrant article, you'll tell me the numbers to plug in.
Okay,
Okay, excellent, good. Okay, sorry.
No, no problem. So the thing that we really need to look at is, I don't know if you all can see my cursor, but this part down here, starting row 26 and under the other column up here. So can everybody see? Or actually, let me ask it this way. Can anyone not see what we're talking about here? The figure that starts 2.44953 million and the cells below that. Anyone not see that?
Which line are you talking about? I printed it out and I can't make the screen any bigger because when I go down there to make it bigger, the
Okay,
bar
I'm
on Zoom
talking
shows
about row 26
okay.
in the column headed other.
Mhm.
The cell that starts with a $2.44 million figure in it. And then it's got items subtracted from free cash, capital stabilization, town funds, contributions, and land. And then also cash stabilization.
So it's just stabilization.
Oh,
So
sorry,
there's-
it's just
yeah.
stabilization. Okay, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Capital stabilization, free cash and stabilization. So essentially what the FinCom agreed tonight was that in order to meet this 2.44 and change million dollar figure, that they would transfer $250,000 from free cash, that they would transfer $238,000 from capital stabilization, that they would account for the $252,700 from the town funds, the town library fund, that they would count $323,854 in contributions from the Friends of the Library, new library fund, that they would subtract the value of the land at $57,528, and that they would further transfer $150,000 from stabilization funds, leaving an amount to be borrowed of 1.172 and change $1 million. Okay, let me just
Mhm.
pause there and see if anyone has any questions about any of that.
No.
Okay, and then if you look over
So
under
Melanie
the,
raised her hand.
oh, I'm sorry, I
That's
can't
okay.
see
It's okay.
Melanie. Go ahead, Melanie, please.
What do I call this document for the meeting minutes?
This is the FinCom's capital project worksheet. Are there any other questions? Actually, this is actually a screenshot that I grabbed at the end of the meeting of their worksheet. So they, I'm sure, had other work to do on it, but this is the status it was at once they determined the library portion of the capital expenditure warrant article, essentially.
So did they vote on this piece?
Yes.
Okay. Good. How did
Okay.
the votes go?
It was 3-2 or 4-2.
5-2.
5-2. Thank you. 5-2. I missed a couple of
Okay.
important votes in there.
Not surprised.
Yes, that's right. 5-2. Okay, and then in terms of just all of us understanding what the implications are, they decided on a 20-year bond. The, I guess, treasurer gave a 3.82% interest rate for that bond. You see the loan amount there. They've worked out the annual principal, the year one interest, and the year one debt service. They've also estimated the implications on the tax rate per $1,000 of average home value. And so that is 0.000425 cents per $1,000 of home value. And on the same average home, an estimated property tax impact of less than $115,000 per year.
115.
Less than 115,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said 115.
Yeah,
Sorry if I wasn't clear. Less than 115.
I thought I heard you say 1,000.
Yeah, I did
So,
too.
yeah.
So
wow.
do they say what they consider an average home to be? I'm just curious.
That
just
is
so
a
we-
question that I have flagged because I really want to know the answer to that question
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I think it's about 260,000.
Okay, maybe we could check on that. Who would I,
Yeah.
should I check with the assessor or would you do that, Marianne?
Yeah, I will. Okay.
A couple of other things, a lot of us were in this meeting, but for those of us who weren't, a former FinCom member raised the question of the value of the land, which seemed low. Marianne explained, I think someone had, that's the assessed value that we have to work with. And it's been very difficult to get a different number on that. There was some concern expressed over our choice of the lower estimate value, given the volatility of the economy and prices in the construction sector. Marianne did an excellent job explaining why the estimate is lower, why, what soft costs are, and why we think we can hold them down.
Good. Thank you, Marianne.
There was also the same person was concerned because the Amherst, the project, the Jones Library expansion project had recently come in significantly over its estimate. To that, Marianne pointed out that the estimate was part of a grant application that was submitted in 2015. So the estimate was part of that application and is therefore 7 years old, whereas ours is about 7 days old. So we think that ours is more likely to be accurate. And also noting that it's the same company that did both cost estimates.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. Those were the main points of discussion and decision that were relevant.
How long was the discussion?
It was over by about 7:30,
Mhm.
I think. Maybe even earlier than that. Anything else that anyone wanted to report? Are people ready for me to stop sharing this screen now? Or rather, if you're not ready, could you say so? All right, hearing none.
Do you mind, for the meeting minutes, sorry, right after you stop sharing, reading the 000, that number? That
Sure.
number
This is
per
the
thousand or whatever that
yeah.
was?
This is the estimated tax rate implication. And the FinCom is estimating that the increase in tax rate per $1,000 of home value is 0.000426. I'm gonna round it to cents per thousand in home value.
So do we just have to pop those numbers in the warrant article? Is that the idea?
Yep.
Did I share the warrant article?
Sure.
All right. Oh, I gotta start here. I have it. Okay. Okay. So here's the warrant article, which can everybody see it?
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. So the free cash amount is the same. What's the stabilization number? Capital stabilization?
238,000 even.
Okay, so that was that, all right, so the
Less.
capital stabilization is 238,000.
So just the zeros, no other numbers.
3 zeros?
Yeah.
Yep, 3 zeros. There's
Oh,
no,
okay.
it's even.
Oh, I was waiting for numbers.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, all right.
The
And
next
then,
amount that's changed, Marianne, is the transfer from the gift fund.
okay, hang on, let me get there. That's this one.
Yeah, which is
okay.
now 323,854 even.
As soon as I put in that 76 cents.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
We need to delete the clause about ARPA funds.
Let's see. Okay, but we need to put in stabilization.
That's
So,
correct.
so we should, all right, so,
And a transfer of 150,000 even from stabilization.
So what was the discussion about not using the ARPA? I'm just curious.
Essentially, so that's an important question. Essentially, select board had not discussed the use of ARPA funds at all, really. And so the FinCom was a little loath to make a recommendation on how to spend them before the select board had really considered it.
Okay.
So,
I'm
and then
I'm moving this up here.
that makes sense.
And I'm now gonna take it out. I should have done that other thing where you, here, let me do this. Let's see. Transfer the library gift fund. Okay, I have to go put, and then, and, okay, All right, is that dollar amount right?
For the transfers, I'm just checking, Marianne.
Okay. The
What
total,
is in the transfers? Free cash, capital stabilization, town funds, contributions?
so
Everything but
all of
land?
these things added together. Um, yes, it all adds together.
But does it include the land or exclude the land?
It
It
includes
includes the
the,
land.
Okay,
Okay. How about, I mean, I don't know if that word transfer needs to be in there.
for what, for the land?
Well, where it says in parentheses for a total transfer amount of.
Well, that was the recommended
Right.
language from the.
Right, from the town council.
so I think we
Okay,
should leave it
yes,
alone.
It was the
okay.
town attorney, yeah.
right.
it's a little funny because the land isn't
Right,
Transfer.
except that the town is giving the land to the project.
Oh. But
So it
it's-
is the
Right.
town
So it's a
transferring a
transfer of the
resource.
value.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I have for the total transfer is 127,2082.
Yep, that's what the FinCom got too. Brad, if you see it under the debt service annual, there's this. Can I share my screen again and maybe I can highlight it for you? Just
Yeah, let me
briefly,
stop
Mary.
Oh,
my
yeah, I see
share.
it there.
Oh, you see it? So,
Okay,
yes. So
Okay.
that's the total transfer amount.
And
all
then
right.
there was one more correction.
All right, can you tell me it, Brad? 127,
127,2082.
2082. Okay,
And is there an extra space in there? I think so, before the 8, before the 0.
Yep,
And then that final to borrow up to, that number is 117,2871.
that's the increased in fundraising amount.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Those were the only other things I saw.
okay. Did I put a, okay, right, okay.
Hey, Marianne,
Mhm.
there's extra space right before, right after the first $250 and right before the word transfer.
Eagle Eyes De Silva.
There's another one about halfway down, appropriation space by on the right, on the far right side of the line.
Right here.
Yeah,
Good catch.
that's all I see.
Oh,
Okay,
wait, there's another one. Third line down, right before the 2,444,000. Yeah.
all right. This is the last trustee meeting I'm ever coming to.
I guess this meeting is never going to end.
Didn't threaten us. We have a quorum. All right.
Okay,
So I would just note
okay.
a couple, this is correct according to everyone's reading. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve the warrant article as amended.
I move.
Do I have a second?
second,
Okay, Marion, could you stop sharing so that I can see people for the roll count vote, please? Thank you. Okay, Michelle,
Yes, pass, agree, whatever, yes.
yes. All right, Melanie,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Savannah,
yes,
Kate, also yes. I would just note that this is lower by a couple $100,000, I believe, than the figure that we voted on last time. So the FinCom has transferred more money and accordingly lowered the amount to be borrowed. Okay, just so
I'm gonna
everyone's
send
clear.
this to Becky and, in case the finance committee, because they're still meeting.
Yeah,
And in case she needs it, okay,
yeah.
okay.
And could you send it to me for the meeting minutes too?
Yes, I'm gonna do it in the same email. How about that?
Melanie, would you like me to save the spreadsheet or did you already do that?
I
wor-
don't think we need to attach the spreadsheet because it's not, it was an,
Not
like a
our
draft
doc.
document from the FinCom that
Okay,
we didn't vote on.
okay. Okay. All right. And so I did send around before the meeting a draft of a town-wide mailing. I would like to ask, I don't know that everyone had time to read it before we met. I sent it only an hour in advance. We do have a little bit of time. The plan is for there to be an envelope stuffing occasion at my place on Saturday, May 7th in the afternoon. And so we do need a final text before then. I would welcome edits if you want to send them to me individually. We cannot discuss this over email. So I can accept or consider individual edits, but we can't discuss it over email.
How long is it? I thought I printed it out, but I can't find it with my other stuff.
It is 2 pages.
Is it
and
something we
I
can
would
look at
like-
now or?
Yeah, I would like to, I don't necessarily want to do a group line edit, if that's okay. It's been a long day probably for all of us. What I could do is share my screen and explain my thinking about the sort of layout and the headings that I chose. And particularly because I want to know if there's anything missing or unnecessary, okay? Because this needs, in my view, to be one single 8x11 sheet of paper front and back. It should not be any longer than that. People won't read it. People probably won't read all of it, no matter how long it is. So that has a lot to do with how I decided to, or I'm proposing to format it in the draft. So I am going to share my screen again. Show grid video, that helps me. So there are a few decisions that we need to take or things that we need to get information on. But my hope is that if people read nothing else, they'll read the opportunity and the bottom line.
So you've already made some corrections.
Yes,
The numbers are updated, at least the ones I can see on this screen.
some of them, but some of the eagle eyes who would want to check against the warrant article would be very welcome to do that.
So what are you looking at for right now? You're looking at major picture things?
Yep. Yeah.
I have some picky things about words. I can sometimes do a good job of reducing content.
Yes, you
I'm just
can.
not sure I can do that
On the fly, you don't have to. You can, Brad, I've seen you do this before and others of you have done it before. I would really welcome, feedback and including really picky edits.
And just to repeat what you said earlier, anything we give you is a one-way street. We're giving you edits and then you take them. Okay,
Yes, and you're gonna have to remember that I'm gonna get several people's edits, and I'm
Yep,
gonna
yep.
have to reconcile among them and make some decisions. Okay, and I'll just do my best to be really thoughtful about that. Okay,
is it okay to bring up issues, questions?
certainly. I was gonna
Before
just
you-
do a
before
little
you do that-
walkthrough. Go ahead.
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
before you do that, Kate, can you resend that in an email? The copy I have is, part of it's obliterated and it makes no sense. And it looks like you made some changes anyway, so can you just,
Yeah, I'll do that
I
before,
really can't
after
read
the meeting.
what I got. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
I'll
you.
do that after the meeting. Okay. But Brad, before I get to you, I would, unless people object, I would like to just explain, but maybe I don't need to, why I chose the categories that I did.
Sure, go ahead, but we can't see the whole thing. We can only see the top two.
Yeah,
so-
I'm gonna scroll down.
Okay.
So just giving people, because there are possibly some people in town who haven't heard one word about this yet. Okay, so just the basic background. And then how we arrived at our cost estimate. What the town's share is. You'll see that I haven't updated everything everywhere. Because I need to, like, for example, remove that. Okay. I'm just gonna flag this for myself as a place that needs fixing. Okay, and then again, just to remind people what this is all about. I'm not convinced that this is in the right order. Okay. How it compares, not too much, but a little bit with about how it compares to the previous project, including the price for the previous project compared with this price. Need to get some in detail on the average home value. And then we have sort of I think a campaign legality question of whether the trustees can link to the Friends tax calc or mention the Friends tax calculator. Or whether there might be a reason for the trustees to have a duplicate calculator on the small library pilot project.
Why don't we just have a duplicate one on the small library pilot project page? Because you know what, we'll do that.
Yep.
Okay. And then the friends can just link to that one. There don't have to
Yeah.
be two. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right, you
Sorry.
just solved a major problem for me. Thank you.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I was concerned about that too. Okay, and then I know the Friends have launched their capital campaign. I'm not sure what the total is that they're hoping to raise.
So they have a goal of $550,000.
On top, oh, holy cow. So they've already raised, over 300,
Right,
325 of that.
right.
So they're
They've
hoping
raised 340, but they've spent,
right,
they
of course,
spent
they just
some, so
spent
we didn't put what they spent in here. They spent
Sure.
money on all the site work.
Yeah.
And it just didn't seem like enough. I mean, that would fall under ineligible
some
costs,
eligible
I would think.
costs.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we
but
already
it
talked
didn't,
about that.
we already, we had so many, I had so many conversations with Lauren and Andrea. $18,000 didn't seem like enough to have another conversation. So.
Fair enough. Okay, so if someone could I can ask Susie I just don't want to speak on behalf of the Friends without hearing directly from the Friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will check on that number, the thing in yellow X's. Okay. So let me pause. I see Melanie, I see your hand. And then Brad, I know you had some thoughts, but just let's maybe spend another 10 minutes on this. Melanie, go ahead.
just had a couple of questions. One was, is there any reason why we might want to explain why we need a new library?
I was wondering about that. I had that same question and I really wanted to put it to the friends. If, if we can do some magic and cut some unnecessary blather, and I admit I wrote this kind of in a hurry this afternoon to get it, ready for you to at least think about tonight. I'm sure there's a bunch of unnecessary blather, and I do think a problem restatement is a really good idea. So I'm just going to put a note in here.
And just a couple of follow-ups. One is, I wonder if people who are new to town may not know what the reference to 2011 is. So I'm wondering if we need to unpack that a little bit more. And then my final, just really a question is, I was talking to someone and Marianne's not gonna know who it is because I sent her a text, a very long text about it. I was talking to my neighbor who was concerned that the elementary school roof was gonna be like a major kind of opposition talking point, that somehow the library and the roof were gonna be positioned.
In opposition to each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
I-
Yeah.
I think it's not an issue anymore. I
Okay,
think the finance committee, um, has mapped out the funding for it. There's still planning so that the finance committee has set aside cash reserves of one kind or another to pay for the school roof. And it's, as I understand it, we're not voting on it at town meeting because they're doing the engineering first. And we're still waiting to hear if we get the grant. But it's written in the capital plan. It was, yeah.
And two more things about that. I heard them mention a special town meeting because it can't be included in this year's budget because there isn't the engineering study finished. And the other thing that I heard, it sounded like they would be talking with the select board, possibly about using American Recovery Plan Act, ARPA funds for the roof. It's from what Becky said, it sounded like the roof does qualify for expenditure of ARPA funds, as indeed would the library have, to be clear.
So when is that going to be decided? Any sense of that? No?
I mean, no, but just if you look at the spreadsheet that I sent earlier this
Mhm.
evening, you can see the $750,000 set aside as pending. Although it will not be in a warrant article or a budget sheet or anything
Mhm.
for this coming town meeting.
There is a citizen's petition on the town meeting warrant to fund the
Oh,
roof.
that's right, there is,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Do
You
we
can
know what
also,
order the- Sorry. Do we
Sorry,
know what
Michelle.
order this is- Do we know what order this is going to be on at town meeting? Or how's it
yeah,
decided?
I believe this is warrant article 5.
Okay.
It's after reports and broadband, which is essentially releasing from fees collected funds to cover expenses. That's how I read it. I'm nobody's expert on this.
It
but that's
is.
what- Yeah.
Yeah. And it's likely that they'll move reports until later.
Okay.
I'm gonna run out of steam. If you
yeah.
want any of my comments, I need to give
Yeah.
them or I need to,
Go ahead.
okay. I have some words that I don't like, but I'm going to skip over them right now. There's formatting issues. I don't happen to like the way the boxes are made, but I'm going to, other than saying that, I'll skip over that too. In the bottom line box, you say the finance committee and the select board. So presumably you're going to wait until the select board has made its decision. Okay.
Yep. You bet.
Then how did the trustees arrive at the cost estimate in the, well, mostly these are minor, but when you get to this estimate, 8.3 million, it's my understanding that RLB came out with their first estimate and that we knocked that down. Is this the knocked down number? In my mind, the thing that is similar is RLB after we knocked it down compared to Fennessy. And I don't think it's fair to say 8.3 is essentially the same as 6.4 because I think things changed in between.
So I can either fix that or I can include language about the work that we did to reduce the RLB estimate.
Okay, so we'll just flag that as
Whichever, I'd
as
love
an
your
issue.
recommendation on that when you write.
I think I can come up with some suggested words, but yeah.
Great.
Then let me see. Okay, I'm going to move on from that one. What is the town's share in my version of it that needs to be updated? You might have done that already. Oh, and then
did.
down at the bottom, what happens after town meeting? So first, something, the warrant article is voted on in the town meeting. Then what is the ballot vote?
That is the vote to approve the debt excluded override.
So that those words should be added. A ballot vote to exclude the debt to what you just said. To clarify what that vote is for. And then in the below that, I thought the 300 funding from MBLC and the 300,000 and the 100,000 from us were for to hire the architect for the design. And that after we get the design, then we put the project out to bid and we hire an owner's project manager.
So I think you can take out owner's project manager because nobody knows what that is. And just, but no, we hire an owner. The first thing we'll do is hire an OPM.
So let's take out the,
yeah.
to put the project out to bid because that's not applicable
Right,
here either.
right,
Hold
and
on.
yeah, okay.
Okay, those were the things I felt we should talk about. The others, I think I can just send you.
Great.
So thank
Ooh,
you.
let's-
Okay, all righty.
Everyone gets to send their thoughts. That includes you, Marion, everyone who has things to say. Okay. Anything else in the minute left that we've allocated for this? Any objection to get formatting, but the idea of doing this is essentially a frequently asked questions kind of format.
That's good. I think it's a good way to do it. Thank
Okay.
you
I
for
like that.
taking the time to put it together.
Okay, great. I'm really looking forward to incorporating your suggestions and making it better. Thank you so much, everybody. All right. Realizing that it is wicked late, Michelle, would you just like to give us a couple of words of
Yeah.
uplift before we wrap this up?
So Marion, have you been to West Hampton?
Yeah,
It felt like it could fit in Shutesbury. I liked how it felt cozy and just like nothing like the Irving. And I haven't been in Hadley, but Hadley's probably more similar to Irving from what I've heard about it. But it just felt cozy and it just felt right. It's like it's not big and it has a ample sized community room, but there were like nice little nooks of where you could sit. They had a bunch of chairs sitting, very comfortable chairs. You could sit and look out the window. It was in beautiful gardens and a whole bunch of benches outside, a whole bunch that a girl who was the first girl in the state to petition to be a Boy Scout apparently built. So there's like 13 of these benches all around the yard. It was just, it felt really nice. So if you ever have the time to drive out to West Hampton, take a look. I liked it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Is everyone clear on when next we meet again?
No. We have a
So
meeting.
there's a
scheduled
meeting
tomorrow.
scheduled for tomorrow, but that one you won't need.
I don't
Um,
think we need it because we're
okay.
doing it tonight.
Right,
Should
okay.
we
And-
should some of us show up at the select board if
Yes, if people can show up at the select board meeting tomorrow,
that's in my calendar?
beginning in the afternoon at
5:45.
5:45.
And the library will come up when they're approving the warrant articles. So you have a meeting posted for the next 2 Mondays. I posted them just before this meeting. So,
Thank you. So I think we can make a determination maybe on Friday if we need our next Monday meeting. We
I
may
will miss
not.
Monday.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, we can check. I believe we are allowed to check for quorum, I believe, by email. And so we'll just, if people are okay leaving it a little loose, we'll just sort of see how things go and whether there's any major issues that we need to discuss as a group on Monday. And if not, we'll cancel. Okay, so do not come here tomorrow. We will not be here. And we'll check and see whether we'll be here on Monday. Okay?
okay.
Anything else for the good of our order, you patient, brave, stalwart people? All right. Hearing none. This is a good day for us. Thank you so much, y'all. Good night.
Okay, good night. Thank you.
You.